Well, they're fast becoming the ANZ Championship giant killers. 2 weeks ago, this West Coast Fever side produced the upset of the year, beating the defending champs, the Vixens, in Melbourne. And last year, well, they also knocked off this side, the New South Wales Swifts, who just happened to also be the defending champs. Tonight, it's the chance for the Swifts to gain some redemption. Good evening and welcome to Challenge Stadium in Perth. It is round 10, the Fever hosting the Swifts. Kelly Underwood alongside former Australian captain Liz Ellis in the commentary box tonight. And Liz, I guess it was on this court last year. It was a thriller. The Swifts lost it, and as a result, their season was ruined.
It certainly was, and one of the reasons that happened was because the Swifts held an early lead in that game, but just turned the ball over a few times and allowed Fever into the match. Now, they're the sort of team that will capitalise on that, and we saw them do it last week against the Vixens. So the Swifts are a little bit nervous coming into tonight's match. They don't want a repeat of last year. They know they need to get off to a good start because this Fever team are young, enthusiastic, and they're not scared.
Will it haunt them? That is the big question as we go through the starting matchups. And Susan Furman, she's got the big job, the big gig tonight. She's against Kath Cox, who is the birthday gal as well, so she'll be looking to celebrate tonight in style. And Bianca Reddy gets a start, a bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, Bianca played particularly well in the match against Vixen, so not surprising that she does get a start somewhere. Jo Curran has the unenviable task of taking on Vanessa Ware, someone who is just a bit of a quiet achiever in this Swifts lineup.
And we move through to the mid-court. This will be pivotal, that one. A Green against Shea Bolton. Madison Brown against Kimberly Smith. How do you see that one panning out, Liz?
Maddie Brown is a real general for the Fever, so Kim Smith's job is going to be to get in her face, and that's what she does really well. So should be a really good matchup between those two.
Rebecca Bully, what a sparkling season she's had. She leads the Holden Cruise leaderboard for Player of the Year, but Leah Short in some good form as well. And then this is going to be the big one for the match.
Yeah, this is really crucial. Sonia McClamer really lowered Caitlin Bassett's colours last time these two teams played in round 5. Bassett was actually taken from the court. So Sonia McClamer needs to repeat that performance tonight for the Swifts. Bassett, though, would love to get revenge.
And Julie Fitzgerald is leading the Swifts tonight. It's Jane Searle leading the Fever, and it's probably a good opportunity to cross down to our courtside reporter tonight, a former West Coast Fever coach, Sue Gordian. Sue, good evening.
Yeah, thanks, Kel. Great to be here. It's been a little while since the Fever have played at home, but they're thrilled to be back. The word out of the camp is they are full of confidence. You've mentioned they beat the Vixens last week. They know they can beat the Swifts twice last year. But the big question is confidence enough to beat arguably the standout team so far this season, the New South Wales Swifts. Massive belief in the Swifts camp, without a doubt. The Fever will have to play their best game this season, guys. But the legs are fresh, the crowd will be huge, and the Fever home ground to be taken advantage of. And just quickly, guys, to note, the black armbands tonight worn by the Fever, paying respect to Merv McIntosh, the father of former Australian coach Jill McIntosh. Merv was a legend of AFL here in WA and the AFL Hall of Fame man, triple Sandover medalist at 87 years of age. Merv, rest in peace, mate.
Well said. Thanks for that, Sue. We look forward to crossing to you throughout the evening. And Liz, I guess she makes a good point. The West Coast Fever coming off a break, they're well rested, they're refreshed. How much of an advantage would that be for them? And I guess plenty of confidence for the last couple of weeks. They would have enjoyed the 2 weeks off, given they beat the Vixens.
Well, the confidence that the West Coast Fever will get out of that Vixens match is huge. They know that if they can hang in there, they're able to match it with any team in the competition. Interestingly enough, Kel, this is the 3rd match in a row where the Swifts have played a team coming off the bye, so they know what to expect. They know they're going to get fresh legs running at them. Sometimes the bye, though, can just take the wind out of a team's sails in terms of momentum. I would expect, though, for the Fever team to really start fast, start hard, and really push this Swifts team all the way tonight. I don't think the Swifts are going to get it all their own way.
As we saw the Swifts just introduced to court here in Perth. And the crowd getting right behind the home side here, the West Coast Fever. These two sides played 5 times before, the head-to-head record, the Swifts 3, the Fever 2. And they have already played once already this year, and that was in round 5, and the Swifts won that by 12.
They certainly did. Caitlin Bassett, as I said before, was taken from the court. She's a bit of a different player though now. She's probably played the best netball that I've seen her play in the last 3 weeks before the bye. So, different player. What she will bring to her game is not just a holding game tonight. She'll get on the move and try and move Sonia McClamer around. If you're going to go into a one-on-one matchup with McClamer, you're going to have a long night. Just watch for Bassett to mix her game up a little this evening.
Big opportunity for the visitors tonight. News has just come through across the Tasman that the Magic, who are sitting second, have actually lost tonight. So the opportunity for the New South Wales Swifts to go 2 games clear at the top of the ladder.
Absolutely, we'll go through the ladder later on this evening, but makes for a lot of congestion in that 4th and 5th spot. It allows the Swifts to go 2 games clear.
It's Kim Green for the Swifts that gets play underway. Monday night netball on 1 is go, and it's the birthday girl. Straight into the action and the first score on the board, so a big confidence-boosting start there for Kath Cox. Didn't have a great week last week, shooting just 57%, so she certainly will be looking for a big night, ready to bounce back. This is Brown. Just a little hesitant on the build-up now. The Fever short into Bassett. From long range, McCloma all over her. Doesn't matter.
Great start for Bassett. Normally we see her shooting close to the post, but look confidence then a little further out.
So both spearheads on the board early. Now Prattley from the baseline. Nothing but net. Bolton to Brown. Back to Bolton. A little bit congested in the mid-court here.
Just an early comment on the Fever's front line. They just look patient. They can keep this up all night. It only is early days in this game, but if they can keep it up, that's something that will frustrate the Swifts' defensive line if they're not able to get good turnover ball.
So much talent and potential, the West Coast Fever side, but it's usually errors that bring them undone as Green, little foot out of court.
Yeah, well done, Joe Curran. Really attacked that ball and gave Kim Green something to look at. Oh, that was a footwork call.
So the stepping call against Joe Curran could result in a goal to the skipper. Kath Cox makes no mistake.
It's those little turnovers and little possessions that Fever get that they're going to have to make the most of. Swifts don't cough up the ball very often. They've got one of the lowest turnover rates in the league. So Fever will know that when they do get their hands on the ball, they've got to at least get it down to a goal attempt.
Smith to Prattley, Green, Furman all over that, read it well now. Loose ball.
Yeah, well done, Susan Furman. Got a footwork going and does the next best thing as well, has a nice long outlet pass. Bypasses a lot of the defensive work from the Swifts attackers.
So this is Madison Brown into short. Had a terrific game when they beat the Vixens. And she's in some fine form as we see Furman. Long arms, outstretched.
Yeah, Furman did the right thing. Cox had just stopped on the take then, so the umpires will allow the defender to come through if she's aggressive and clean. That's what she was.
Rolls out for Prattley. This is Reddy. Getting a rare start for the Fever. Started this year without a team, and then, of course, Josie Jantz. Oh, there's a loose ball in the centre. Body's on the line in the mid-court. And the Fever have coughed it up, and as a result, the Swifts attacking.
Yeah, that was a great defensive play then from Kim Green. She's so good in the middle. Just the last couple of steps under the ball are so strong. She was a sprinter in her younger days, and that shows, when, particularly in her defensive work.
So here's a replay.
And eyes for the ball only. Great to see the umpires let that go too. It was just a really good contest from both players.
Both pretty fierce competitors, those two. They won't be taking a step back, that's for sure. Now Reddy to Bolton. Low ball straight through Leah Short's legs. She had no idea how to control that. It was an awkward pass. Poor delivery. Now the Swifts away. Quick transition.
Great delivery, Ware. Vanessa Ware is just so important for the Swifts. In the last 2 weeks, she's only had 1 turnover per game. And she's so good because most often she'll take the easy option, but occasionally she'll wind up and let a really spectacular pass go through.
Well, I know you've said before, Liz, you usually average about 20 turnovers a game. The Swifts this year averaging 14 turnovers a game, so quite remarkable. And a telling statistic of why they are still and the only undefeated side. A little bit overcooked there on that pass.
The crowd just getting into this contest. You feel like the Fever have their tails up. Only a couple of goals down. 5 minutes into this first quarter, they know they're in the match.
As they fought back against the Vixens, well and truly out of it. Came from nowhere.
The Vixens had an 11-goal lead partway through that match. And that's the thing with this Fever team. Players, or the teams who play against them, never really feel comfortable.
Wing defence contact.
So the call going against Smith. 1-2, Brown, Short. Short goes to get it again. A bounce pass Off the board, clever. But it rims out.
It's good work from Leah Short. She needs to keep attacking the post, and that's what she's doing early. She's got to keep Rebecca Bully interested in what she's doing. Jo Curran, great steal for the Fever.
And then McClymer tried to make amends and came out, and it left Bassett all alone under the post, and she makes them pay. So turnovers, West Coast 5, and the Swifts 1. That will be concerning Jane Searle, early days. Green, good delivery. Prattley, good result. So here's McClymer.
That's great work from Jo Curran. She just spotted the intercept and committed to it. Wasn't her direct opponent that was taking the ball, but good commitment from the Fever captain.
Current to Brown to Bolton in the pocket. A high ball, beautifully placed ball. Oh, McClymer's long reach put Bassett off on that occasion. Bully, centre corridor, and that pass from Green just had a little bit too much on it for Prattley.
Chance now for the Fever. Rare turnover for the Swifts. Fever must make the most of it. Great cross-court play.
They move it quickly. Short couldn't quite get it over McClymer's hands. Bassett was all by herself under the post.
Yeah, clever play, McClymer. Eventually, though, it will end up under the post. There's a good screen then from Bassett. Just opened up Short on the baseline.
Really good, positive start by the home side. They're energised, they're up and about. Taking it up to the undefeated Swifts. A real danger game. Cox working in and under the post hard, but it's Prattley that has the shot, forced to step back.
I reckon this Fever team are a team that they won't make the Final Four. They can't do that. There's not enough games left for them this year, but they can have a huge influence in the Final Four, and teams who are coming up against them will mark them down as just a bit of a danger side. They jump up and bite you.
Green. Quick ball. Now Prattley teaming up with Ware.
Yeah, well played, Prattley. That was just such slick ball work from that Swifts front line. Finished off by Prattley. Fever then just put a nice mid-court zone on. Just a sign of the maturity of this Swifts lineup this year. We're patient, and then as the space opened up, they let the balls go.
Furman playing in front. She's had her chances in this quarter, and she's been able to take them. So it is the Swifts by 2, just over 7 minutes remaining. Let's go courtside, Sue Gordian.
Thanks, Cal. Just we've talked quite a lot at the moment about Jo Curran. I want to continue. Very interesting to see her start out on the wing defence. I think this is a great move for the Fever. We know that so far this season, both her and Furman have been heavily penalised. They're right up there as far as the contacts and obstruction counts concerned. They needed to clean their game up. Maybe one of the great moves is to have her out in the wing. What will be interesting is how long Reddy can last in that goal defence role. Probably more familiar for her back at keeper. So she may fatigue as the game goes on, but we'll watch and see.
Bianca Reddy gets a start because she was so impressive against the Vixens. And it was her and Emma Beckett that came on at half-time and did so well. Surprised perhaps that Emma Beckett didn't get a start, but she really was pivotal in holding McMahon for the second half.
She certainly was, and she just played a really great game. Just came on, ran at everything, and the ball started to fall her way. Maybe the thinking behind the way that the Fever have started is Furman matches Cox for height.
As we see there, Cox with a great take. Doesn't want to turn and go to the post.
The problem with trying to match Cox for height is that she's also a good player to get on the move. Furman will have to make sure she covers the baseline as well.
So Furman wearing her like a glove. McClymer in front, beautifully read. Just a little agitated early stages, Sonia McClymer. Already had a few words to say to the umpires. Now the quick ball comes into Cox, turns, shoots, thought about it. Prattley the rebound.
Jo Curran's doing a great job in terms of attacking the ball. The next phase of her play now needs to be to keep Vanessa Ware off the circle. Just watch her drive. She's so strong in that movement to the top of the circle, and is just starting to find herself in some really nice feeding position.
Prattley with a little bit of space inside the circle, makes them pay. And all of a sudden the Swifts, 3 in a row, they've edged out to a 5-goal lead. Short Can't go to Bassett. She's double teamed. And now Bassett wants it at the back. She gets it and gets the goal. Well played.
Yeah, speaking of good feet in position, that ball was successful then because Maddie Brown hustled away to the top of the circle, created a nice little one-on-one or a two-on-one, but Bassett's so tall you can just dump the ball in.
Ready. Went for the intercept. Missed it. So too did Curran. So they're going for everything. Taking their chances. Off the boards to Cox. From long range. And the smile as a result of the goal. She likes that. Don't usually see too much emotion from Kath Cox. Now the quick movement from the Fever. Short, a little too high, a little bit too much on it.
Caitlin Bassett saying, just put it up a little bit higher. They were in a good position then, the Fever. They had a one-on-one between Bassett and Bully. Bassett wins that height battle.
Quick ball movement here by the Swifts. Pretty impressive. Bolton a little bit too enthusiastic on green. And another goal to the captain. There's Bolton and Green. Across the circle, always risky, but the bullet-like pass comes into Prattley, and it's another goal for the Swifts. And they've scored 10 of the last 13 now, and the home crowd a little stunned.
Danger period here for the Fever. They will fight all the way, but they can't let the Swifts get out to too big a lead. The Swifts just at the moment playing with so much composure. You don't want to let them skip away on you early.
So they've just faded out in the last few minutes. Goldenly assured keeps them in touch. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Look at that long bomb into Prattley.
Yeah, it's a beautiful delivery from Cox, and she backs it up with the rebound. Over the top of Curran and Furman.
It's already a couple of offensive rebounds we've seen by the Swifts. The Fever can't afford to let that happen too often. Jane Searle barking instructions from the bench. Bolton to Short. In two minds. Now Brown back to Short. Bassett out of position under the post, so they're forced to go the shorter option in Short. And nothing but net. That's a very impressive shot. Julie Fitzgerald, the Swifts coach, watching on.
Well, Leah Short sitting at 5 from 6. Caitlin Bassett 6 from 7. So what the Fever need is a goal attack who's prepared to turn and go to the post. Keep the defensive line interested in what she's up to.
So Bassett calls for it, but Short with the hot hand. 3 in a row. From Short, 3 in a row for the Fever. And it drags them back into it.
Oh, well done, Bianca Reddy. She got away with just a high shot on Cox and backed it up. Oh, very nearly a great steal then from Curran. I thought she contested that well.
Oh, well played. It was Bianca Reddy throwing her body all over the court. And as a result, the Fever win possession. Fever in attack.
This is where the defensive line was so good against the Vixens. They just threw themselves at everything, and eventually the ball started to fall their way.
And it does fall their way again, Liz. To Bassett, still with possession. Now she can turn around. Can she get it over McCloma's hands? Not quite.
Oh, very nearly a great rebound there from Bassett. Swifts get out of jail a little bit.
So that was a chance to drag it back to a 3-goal game. Bully, Prattley, back to Bully. A little unsettled now, the Swifts. Call against Curran. Now Prattley, a much-needed settler for the New South Wales Swifts. There's Bianca Reddy, just throwing herself at everything.
Jo Curran doing well to wrestle the ball there out of Vanessa Ware's hands. Just good aggressive play by the Fever.
Short. Oh, well played by Rebecca Bully. Looked like Bassett had that easy. And West Coast Fever will get it again, so they'll have another crack here. It's still time to pick a couple of goals back.
Fever would love to count the clock down, score the goal. See the Swifts forced to take the centre pass.
Brown to Bassett. And she needed that for her side. She produces a goal.
Swifts now will look long. 16 seconds is plenty of time to get the ball down.
And they're aware of it as well. Pratley back out to a 5-goal lead. So Fever have scored 4 of the last 6, and there's not enough time. It beats them on this occasion. It was the Swifts out to an early lead, Liz, but the Fever came hard late, and they're still in the contest.
They certainly are, and Leah Short putting her hands to her head then. She knows that she shouldn't have released the ball. That just means the Swifts get the first centre pass in the next quarter. Fever, though, pretty good quarter from them, scoring 13 goals against one of the better defensive lines in the league.
It's the Swifts by 5 goals at quarter time. Well, the West Coast Fever might be out of finals contention, but they can still have a say on the finals makeup, and they trail the New South Wales Swifts by 5 goals at quarter time. Of course, the Swifts looking to keep their perfect record intact and make it 9 in a row. What do the numbers tell us at quarter time, Liz Ellis?
It's just a basic number, Kel. Fever have turned the ball over 5 more times the Swifts in the first quarter, and they are down by 5 on the scoreboard. It's just making sure for the Fever that when they get the ball off the Swifts that they turn and score. And it's also making sure that they're nice and patient. Now, they started off the game beautifully and were patient with the ball, but eventually they just got a little sloppy towards the end, and that's where the turnovers came.
Leah Short, of course, up against her old side. She played for the New South Wales Swifts in the first year of the ANZ Championship. And, gee, she's been playing really well the last couple of weeks, coming off probably her best game against the Vixens. I think she shot 7 from 9 in the second half and was pivotal in their big upset win.
Just take a look at where she's shooting the ball from. It's just going to show, just that shot chart goes to show just how much work she's doing around Caitlin Bassett. She's allowing Bassett to have the front and middle of the circle and just working off the baseline, and also just doing some nice front cuts as well, which is allowing the Fever just to find some really good space in that circle.
Quick ball movement from the New South Wales Swifts. Of course, they got out to an early handy lead in that opening term. The Fever can't allow them to do it again. And Pratley opens proceedings in the second quarter. There's been a couple of changes. Let's go down courtside. Sue Gordian.
Yeah, the Fever making some changes. Furman to the bench, and Bianca Reddy, who was in goal defence, has been moved back to goalkeeper. And as we mentioned earlier, a fantastic game against the Vixens. Very exciting player, Emma Beckett, on to goal defence. Just quickly, the Swifts, very calm, very collected. They realise they've got 60 minutes to go, 45 minutes to go, should I say, to win this game. Really interesting. Julie Fitzgerald talking to both Kath Cox and Sue Pratley, saying Fever are most likely to make a change, either now or at half-time, so she picked it. And Jane Searle really impressed with the first quarter, but she just wants some stronger driving from the attack end to open up Bassett at the post.
So a couple of changes from the home side. We mentioned earlier, Liz, we were surprised that Emma Beckett with the ball in her hand there didn't start, given that she really did the shutdown job on Sherelle McMahon a couple of weeks ago.
And it's good to see her on. The challenge for her, though, will be just to continue where she left off against the Vixens. She came on and there was so much adrenaline punching through her body, and she did a beautiful job. Shut down one of the game's best players in Sherelle McMahon. She's up against tonight, though, Susan Pratley, who herself is in some really good form for the Swifts. So Beckett just needs to stay positive, throw herself at everything like she did a couple of weeks ago, and she may very well get the same result tonight.
Pass to Cox had a little bit too much heat on it. Even the birthday girl couldn't quite get up that high.
It's all those years weighing on her shoulders.
I'll let you say that. Now the high ball up the other end, though, and Bassett gets to this one. And it results in a goal. They needed that because it was the Swifts with the first couple in this second quarter. They remain in touch. Ware uses green. He's wearing the trademark red shoes tonight.
Yeah, she wasn't very happy that Leah Short now is wearing red shoes as well, so...
And there's Leah Short in the red shoes. She started a trend.
If you're going to wear shoes like that, you've got to be good.
Well, it's like in the AFL. To be different these days, you need to wear black boots, a little bit different to the 70s. They could all be wearing red shoes this time next year, Liz. There's Pratley. Oh, that's a beautiful delivery into Kath Cox. Deft touch by the captain. And it's all of a sudden out to a 7-goal lead.
Well, Cox playing a really smart game on Reddy, just mixing up where she's starting off a hold. Trying to hold in front, then holding behind, and just then she got on the move. And just showing her versatility.
Starting to dominate now, Kath Cox. It's her 11th goal from 14 attempts. Reddy's got her work cut out ahead of her, that's for sure. Now Short into Bassett.
It's a good delivery then from Short, and she was able to do it because Bully now knows that she has to get out and start hassling Leah Short hands over, or otherwise Short will go to the post. So good play by the young Fever goal attack.
The turnover here, some good pressure from the Fever. It results in the turnover. Now they need to capitalise. Short really having an impact in this game. Brown, top of the circle. Looks to give it off. Double team was Bassett. Now, instead they go for the pocket, looking for Bolton. Here's Short again. Brown to Bassett.
Bassett taking a leaf out of the book of Catherine Cox up the other end, gets on the move. That's clever play again. You're a tall goal shooter, it's tempting to stand and hold, but they have different aspects to your game.
And again, just when the New South Wales Swifts look like they might pull away, the Fever, oh, well read by McCloma. Great anticipation and athletic skills.
This is where the Swifts are really good, Kel, just in their transition movements from one end of the court to the other. The skill of the good teams is to be able to transition really quickly from defence into attack and reverse, attack into defence. The moment you cough up the ball, you've got to be able to get into defence. The Fever were a little slow in doing that on that occasion.
Where Green. And then, beautiful ball, long bomb on the baseline. Kath Cox really starting to find her range now. 19 from 33 last week. She's already got 12. We're not even halfway through the second quarter. So she's set for a big night. Brown, Bolton, over the top. Bassett, McCloma all over it. Just taps it to herself. And now the Swifts with a real run. Kath Cox a long way from home. Forced to go backwards, then to go forwards. Now Green. Bounce pass. Off the boards, Prattley, turn and shoot, and doesn't come off.
Well done, Vanessa Ware. Did the job defensively as well. That's what I was talking about, just a quick transition. The Swifts don't allow teams to get a fast break on them when they turn the ball over. They're straight into hands over the ball and contesting every pass.
So you got in the Swifts attacks really starting to dominate now.
Yeah, look, the Fever are going to have to really pull their socks up. Look, Kim Green and Vanessa Ware just so impressive, particularly on the centre pass. If you have a look, the defensive pressure from Fever's just not there. It's just there's so many open spaces. Really love to see Maddie Brown come down and do a bit more of that, you know, and Leah Short. They really need to step up because, as we know, when you can shoot easily off a centre pass, you've got a lot more energy to defend down court.
Well, all of a sudden, it's 9 goals to 4 in this second quarter, and as a result, a tactical timeout is called. It's the captain, Joe Curran, that's called the timeout. But it'll just give the West Coast Fever here a chance to pause and perhaps regroup because they need to do something. The Swifts really on a run in this second term.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's because they're doing the little things right, Kel. When you watch these Swifts line up, very careful about making sure that they maintain possession when they're in attack. There's 2 options to the ball. And one of the reasons there's 2 options for the ball is the worst work of this young lady, Vanessa Ware. 8 centre pass receives already, 8 goal assists, just the 1 bad pass. She'll kick herself for that. She generally has 1 a game. And for the amount of ball that she actually handles, she's really efficient with what she does. And what she's done tonight particularly well for the Swifts is find herself in really good feeding position at the top of the circle. She hasn't been forced to do a lot of work off the circle. So for Joe Curran, who's playing against Vanessa Ware tonight, she just needs to get up and get in Vanessa Ware's face a little bit. Just make her make a couple of movements before just turning and running with her.
Well, we're in the middle of a timeout, so Gordian, does it look like there'll be any changes?
Well, Furman and Gilmore were toe-tapping on the bench, so I think they were getting a bit excited, but it may actually have been a red-hot injury time, as in Curran was getting a fair bit of work there by physio Trevor Lawrence-Brown, so no changes by the Fever, but certainly that confirms that Susan Furman is still able to come back on the court at any stage, so wasn't an injury woe for her when she was removed at quarter time.
So here go the Fever. Off hands, Swift's hands.
A smile from Rebecca Bully there. She's a much happier camper this year than she was last year. She's getting such brilliant backup from that woman, from Sonia McClamer. The bully's able to get out in front and do her work, and she's doing it beautifully.
Brown holds it up momentarily. Sonia McClamer will get the ball. He dislocated a finger last week, Liz.
And she kept playing, so she can stay in the goalkeeper's club. Good and tough.
They breed them tough down there. Ware getting involved yet again. And that was well played by Beckett.
When the Fever hold this Swifts run up and transition really quickly into defence, they're actually starting to create some problems for the Swifts line. They're forcing them to go backwards and sidewards. So the Fever defence is really effective. It just needs to come quicker.
Green goes back to Bully again. Beckett getting involved.
Yeah, she read that well, just a second too late. Really worthwhile having a go at that.
And it's the second straight week that we've seen Susan Furman sent to the bench, Liz. I mean, what does it mean, I guess, for her career in a sense, given she is an Australian Diamonds player?
Yeah, Furman has struggled a little bit with a knee injury that sort of dogged her all the way through her career. She's had a knee reconstruction, but she's got some degenerative problems there. So that certainly affects how hard she can train and how much she can do in the training paddock. And I think that comes through. She just looks a little rusty at times.
Short caught behind McClamer. Read it well. Now, again, thought it might have been a held ball, but the umpire will give McClamer benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, McClamer did step into Caitlin Bassett, which is not a wise thing to do, but it was Maddie Brown that gave away the penalty in the end.
Oh, Smith couldn't quite get it to Ware. Curran was lurking. Curran with the still long bomb. And the call is against McClamer. Gee, that must be frustrating as a defender. You think you do everything right. No hands on Bassett, eyes only for the ball, and, well, the whistle, call goes against you. Now here go the Swifts again. Out to 11-goal margin. Green, interesting, in two minds, and as a result, she coughs it up.
Yeah, this Fever team just won't go away. They're staying in it. Just on the back of some really nice defensive work when they're getting one-on-one and really riding the Swifts. They're coming up with possession.
So just when the Swifts start to pull away, the Fever really drag themselves back into the contest. Real never say die attitude from this young side. Oh, bit of a collision off the ball. That was Bully and Bassett.
Or bad luck, McClamer.
Bassett stepped into her on that occasion.
Yeah, she did. McClamer just a little bit aggressive. Got her hands on the ball. She really needed to wait until the ball was released. So, Fever.
Watch this. There's Bassett and Bully, both wanting to go in the same direction.
Yeah, I would have actually let that go. I think both players ran into each other, but generally it's the attacking player that gets the benefit of the doubt. So, Bassett there, quite happy to take the penalty.
So a few clashes off the ball. Feels like perhaps this contest might have just stepped up a gear, become a little bit more intense.
We saw yesterday with the Queensland Firebirds in the last 15 minutes of the match, their intensity really stepped up, and that's something that young players and young teams really struggle with, is having that level of intensity from the start. You see with the Swifts, they played a really similar intensity the entire game. They start high and they stay high. So it's a skill that this Fever team has to learn.
Short. Goes over the top of the circle. Now Brown.
Yeah, beautiful split there.
It was a bullet-like pass into Short.
Oh, needed to be finished, but well done, Bassett.
And she does.
Yeah, Short and Bassett set that up beautifully, and Brown read it equally as well. It was a nice little set play then from Fever.
Bassett with her 14th goal from 16 attempts. 46 against the Vixens 2 weeks ago. Cox with the long ball, well timed. Oh, Pratley and Green has caught one high.
Yeah, I think Kim Green copped an elbow in the face. She's a tough cookie, so she'll stay on, but she's probably had some of her features rearranged.
That's a stinger, if ever you've seen one. So here's a replay of the incident. And here's Shane Bolton Just making her earn the ball.
Yeah, just poking the eye from Shea Bolton. Probably not as bad as poking the eye from the third stick, but it's not cool.
It was a bit of a backhander, wasn't it? Didn't look intentional.
No, you know that Shea Bolton is absolutely going to have a go at everything. Good work done tonight from Kim Green. She's been in everything in the goal assists. A couple of penalties in that centre position. You'd expect that because she's absolutely in every contest, and she's affected a couple of turnovers tonight. Doesn't have a clean intercept to her name, but she has a couple of deflections and some possession gains as well. Just the one turnover. She's travelling along beautifully there. Interesting, just looking at the stats, West Coast Fever have only had one turnover this quarter. That's a much better stat for them for this first 10 minutes of the second quarter.
So the physio's had a check. Doesn't look like the nose is broken, and she's dusted herself off and she's ready to roll again, which is good news for Kim Green and the Swifts. To Prattley, and another goal. So
nose isn't broken, but the mascara needs a touch-up.
The Fever. Oh, Short. Good cut to the post. Bassett couldn't get the ball over McCloma's arms.
Well, Fever look to have taken the opportunity to make a change in that timeout. Maddie Brown, centre.
McCloma again. Just pure athleticism.
Yeah, she's playing beautifully at the moment for the Swifts.
Smith, Bully, Green, Ware, they share it around. Great momentum. Swings it forward. Prattley on the baseline. Prattley misses. Defensive rebound, Reddy, Curran, cross court, Brown, who's just moved into centre. Back to Reddy.
So you can already see the Swifts players just getting their hands up over the ball and trying to slow down the Fever progression down the court. So good defensive play.
And it's working. Really struggling. It's almost like that transverse line is like a brick wall trying to get over it.
Well, there's a brick wall as well with the name of Bully and McCloma written all over it. Those two are combining beautifully. You see Rebecca Bully just sneaking out onto Leah Shawn, and she's just started to double back as well.
Green in the pocket was looking for Cox and almost scored a goal. We've seen that a few times, Liz, where players sort of become unaware that the post is there because they're looking to find the hands.
Well, the Fastnet competition that gets held at the end of the year allows for 2-point shots to be taken by the goal shooter or goal attack outside the circle. So it's something that the girls now practice, not the centre players though.
Goal shooter.
So it's out to a 10-goal lead now for the Swifts. It was the Swifts by 5 at quarter time. But we saw it was at this point in the first quarter that the Fever really rallied. Were able to string a couple of goals together. They need to do it again. Defensive tactics by the Swifts, super impressive. Really making the Fever work for every ball.
They do work as a solid unit. We often talk about Bully and McCloma, but Kim Smith is such an important part of that as well, because what she does is often just take the wing attack out of the equation. At the moment, it's Shea Bolton. No surprise that Jane Searle has opted to switch her mid-court around.
Less than 2 minutes. Got it back to single figure, 9 goals. Green, looking for Prattley. The call goes against the Swifts. So the Fever with 5 of the last 7 again. Just trying to eat into that margin.
I said before that teams just don't feel comfortable against the Fever no matter what the margin. Guarantee you at the moment the Swifts won't be feeling comfortable because they know what this Fever team is capable of.
Well, this call goes against Brown. It was off her hands against the Fever, and the crowd doesn't like it.
Yeah, I reckon Brown probably unlucky then, but the umpire in a far better position than us. It's on the other side of the court from where we're sitting. Crowd, though, not happy.
Green.
Oh, well done, Beckett.
Sat up, allowed Beckett to get involved, and the high ball for Bassett.
Good idea, Shea Bolton. She had Sonia McCloma all over her, but
she had a toe on the baseline and she was trying desperately to stay in play. Oh, well played by Shea Bolton. A little one-hander and it results in a goal, and the crowd suddenly getting involved. Here's Bolton. Almost a goal.
That was clever play then from McCloma. Forced the error, but Bolton straight back into it. Good transition play.
Bolton again, short. Goes to the top of the circle. Brown. Where will she go? Over the top.
Good play, good setup from Bassett.
Bassett with her 16th goal. for the evening.
Go with
And
it.
it's back to 7.
Running distractions.
3 in a row for the Fever. Exactly like the first quarter. They will not be denied.
Cox. About to say Swifts would love a settler here, and they get that through their captain, Kath Cox. Shooting beautifully at 15 from 16 from 20. Interestingly, Cox and Pratley have shared the load this evening, both shooting 16 goals from 20 attempts, so both proving an equal amount of headache for the Fever defensive line. Fever defensive line, though, with the changes made at quarter time, are just starting to come into the game and pick up some possessions.
So it's half-time here at Challenge Stadium in Perth, and it's the New South Wales Swifts leading by 8 goals. Half-time here at Challenge Stadium in Perth, and it's the New South Wales Swifts looking to keep their perfect record intact. The only undefeated side in the competition at the main break. They lead the West Coast Fever by 8 goals. Liz Ellis.
Yeah, impressive shooting stats for both teams, sitting at 80%. That's pretty much what your coaches ask for, 80% or above, and both teams are delivering at the moment. Lots of intercepts for both teams. For the Swifts, their 4 intercepts have come through Sonia McCloma, who is having an absolutely outstanding game. The thing, though, is the turnovers, and that's what's hurting the Fever at the moment.
Well, it was 2 quarters that almost really mirrored each other. The Swifts pulled away in the first half of each quarter, and then the Fever really pulled back to remain in touch.
It looks like at the moment it just takes the Fever a little while to get into their groove, to find their rhythm and to lift their intensity. When they do, though, and particularly when they lift their defensive intensity, they're starting to get some tips and touches on the Swifts. The Swifts don't cough up a lot of clean ball, but the Fever are able to just get in and disrupt the Swifts' flow. The Swifts, though, have just been so impressive. Sonia McCloma has been outstanding, one of the best on court for them. And I really like what the Swifts mid-court of Vanessa Ware and Kim Green are doing, just delivering beautiful ball into Cox and Pratley, who are giving them plenty of options.
And Furman off at quarter time. How did you see Bianca Reddy going head-to-head with Cox?
Look, it took Bianca Reddy just a little bit just to understand what she was up to with Cox. Cox was very smart, just kept on changing up her starting position and getting different ball delivery. Reddy, though, started to come into the game and got some really nice and quite influential touches towards the end of that quarter, and that probably is what spurred the Fever on.
And the Fever, well, they are desperate. They're exciting to watch, but as you mentioned, it is the turnovers that prove costly.
Yeah, it's the turnovers. It's also their transition play. I know I keep saying it in the call, but what I'd like to see Fever do is just when they cough the ball up, just be a bit quicker about getting into defence and not allow the Swifts to have a fast breakdown court.
All right, we've got the second half coming up right after this. It was the New South Wales Swifts by 5 goals at quarter time. At half time, they lead by 8. It's the Swifts 32, the Fever 24.
And her diamonds bring me down, 'cause I can't help her now. She's down in it, she tried her best and now she can't win.
Delivering the ball commence the second half of tonight's match.
Half-time here at Challenge Stadium in Perth, and the New South Wales Swifts edging towards making it 9 in a row and showing why Catherine Cox and her teammates are the premiership favourites. They lead the West Coast Fever by 8 goals as we're about to get the second half underway. And as Ellis head-to-head, it has been a bit of a shootout under each post. Bassett v Cox.
It certainly has. Caitlin Bassett just has the edge on Cox at the moment in terms of percentage. Cox has a slight edge in terms of shooting. Not forgetting, of course, that in every game at the moment there is a subtext about selections of the Australian team. They'll be 2 of the goalers that Coach Norman Plummer will be looking at to take to the Commonwealth Games later this year. It's going to be a great battle for positions in that lineup.
The most goals up until half-time. Kath Cox, 16 from 20. Pratley, 16 from 20. Up the other end, Bassett, 15 from 17. And McCloma straight away in the action. Turnover, not what the Fever needed. Pratley, Ware. Cox well out beside the circle. Furman, hands in her face. And we can see Furman's back on the court. So it looks like there's been a few changes. We'll get down to Sue Gordian very shortly. Pratley in 2 minds, didn't know whether to shoot or give it off. She'll get a second crack at it. Pratley steps back. And good defensive tactics by the Fever. A rebound here from Beckett. Now they're away. Back to Beckett. Charging pass was Brown. Bolton. Short comes out. Offers some support. The long ball well read by Bolton. Trying to get it into Bassett. She's been double teamed, so popping out with Short. And it rolls out. It will be a Fever ball. Let's go down and check those changes with Sue.
Thanks, Kel. Well, the Fever searching for a solution on Cox and Pratley, as you saw. Furman back onto the court and Bianca ready to the bench. The Swifts pretty happy with where they're at. Obviously, they're just about building this third quarter. Very important to them to set them up for the final. The word out of the Fever camp, though, was much harder one-on-one. They're just way too loose down the court, and they're really after some better cuts and drives so that that ball comes out of defence a lot better. Just personally, though, I think each and every one of those Fever players just needs to take a step up. Self-responsibility, that's the only way they're going to get back into this game.
Oh, Pratley with just a little turn-away, fade-away jumper almost.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. Now, shooters do practice that, but they love the opportunity to put it out in a game like that. Vanessa Ware set it up with just a beautiful delivery into Pratley, just centimetre perfect.
A little piece of magic by Susan Pratley. Bassett opts to go the traditional way to post, and it's pretty effective as well.
Well, they both count for 1 point, so doesn't matter how you get it. Great tape, Ware.
So it's back to 7. They're challenging again, the Fever. And the call goes against Kath Cox.
Susan Furman's come on with a bit of fire in her eyes and really quite physical in the opening part of this quarter. Gets away with that one.
Well, it's not going to script. As we said in the first half, it was the Swifts that got out to a really quick start in each quarter. This time the Fever really up and about. Ware, Pratley. Over the top to Green. Ware again. Gee, they're such impressive with their ball movement. Cox from long range just steps back into it, and that is as sweet as it gets.
Furman was all over that shot. Put on a beautiful lean over the ball, but didn't make much difference in the end.
Barney's moving.
Bolton, ambitious. Somehow it comes off and it results in a goal. They remain in touch. There's the replay of Pratley.
Just feels like Fever have just come out and lifted the intensity for the first part of this quarter. They're starting this quarter like they've finished the last couple of quarters. Really intense, really up in the Swifts' face. All over everything.
They need to find that consistency. They need to be able to put it together for 4 quarters to get the results they need. Just the 2 wins so far this year for the West Coast Fever. Brown moved into that centre position. Short. Over to Brown again. 1-2 that looks for. It's not on. But the call against McCloma. Oh, crucial miss by Bassett. She will have another chance, and she converts. Trying to get it under that 7 goals, Liz. They haven't been able to do it.
It's a bit of a magic barrier for them. The Swifts just setting up then a little set play off the centre pass. They've got the luxury of having a moving shooter, so they set up an overload.
Look at Furman is just dancing around there. Plenty of enthusiasm. Doesn't come off this time. Kath Cox ever so cool under the post. Brown, short. Back to Brown, and she just lobs it.
Oh, bad luck. That was going to be a
Nearly
magic
came
play.
off. Green. Oh, bullet-like pass. Splits the defenders. Pratley. Goals.
It's a great vision from Green. She had plenty of options. As we see Brown then. A bit of a Hail Mary pass. It was worth a try. Green had Cox coming towards her, and that's where I thought she was going to go with the ball. Spotted Pratley out of the corner of her eye. Perfect pass.
Furman, a little too aggressive with Cox. And a couple of goals. And it's back to double digits. Bassett, Bolton. Skirting the perimeter. Brown and Short will win possession. On top of the circle and back in under the post.
Yeah, good play, Leah Shaw then. Drove to the top of the circle. It took fully with her, and that's what opened up Bassett.
Now Ware. Cox, good cut from Pratley. And all over her was Beckett.
Yeah, great play, Beckett.
Results in a turnover. McCloma having plenty to say. She doesn't like the call. Winning the ball is Bolton, and again they go high to Bassett. And another goal for Caitlin Bassett, so that's her 4th of the quarter. There's Beckett, just a little flick pass.
Oh. Didn't quite see what that was for, but I think Joe Curran broke before the whistle for the centre pass. It's a huge momentum changer for the Fever. They had really started to get a run on then.
So it's the Swifts by 8 goals. Let's go courtside, Sue Gordian.
Caitlin Bassett getting very frustrated at the moment, and I think actually more so with her teammates. That ball being fed to her just not being placed well. We know McCloma's got arms that go down forever and a day, so they've got to really make sure Bolton and Maddie Brown and Leah Short place that ball. Here we go, let's have a look. A little better. She'll certainly be happy with that, but she was getting very frustrated before.
So here's that 7-goal barrier again, Liz. The entire contest, it's sort of been momentum swings from 7-goal margin out to 11, 12 goals. They haven't been able to get it back under 7. Let's see if they can do it before 3-quarter time. Really give themselves a chance in the last quarter. It popped up for an anxious moment. McCloma, nearly the turnover. Instead, the goal to Bassett, and it's back to 7.
And you can hear the crowd getting into it. And the Fever will feed off that. They're a team that needs their home crowd to get behind them. Crowd doing their bit at the moment. Fever got their tails up and about, looking confident.
They need a stop. Furman well played, and the defensive rebound, and here's a chance. So Furman had a quarter to sit on the bench, stew over the fact that she had been benched, making her presence felt.
Well, in the famous matchup in round 5 last year, Swifts led by as much as 8 in that game. So Fever will know that they are in this.
So the Fever 5 of the last 6, and suddenly they've been able to break through the 7-goal margin, and it's back to 6. Now here's the crucial part. They can't let all their good work come undone. Patient. The coach is urging patience. Brown, Short, Bassett. Doesn't want to turn to the post, so they go again. Different avenue to goal. Short on the baseline. That's absolute perfection.
Fever have managed to eat into this deficit just because they've been so patient in attack. They've cut that turnover rate right down.
And they got it back down to 5, and then in the blink of an eye, the Swifts are able to score. Here they go again. Long bomb, Bassett, goal.
The main difference in this comeback for the Fever is just their attacking play. They're looking a lot more confident in delivering the ball into Caitlin Bassett. She's presenting them with a great target.
All of a sudden, there's excitement in the air. The Fever have got a sniff. What an upset it would be.
Beautiful take from Pratley. The great thing between Cox and Pratley and their understanding, as soon as one gets the ball, she looks for the other one straight away. They bring each other into the game.
And they goal, and it's met with silence. The Fever can goal here. It's met with screams.
And Caitlin Bassett, 24 from 27. Massive play there.
Become hesitant all of a sudden, the Swifts. They're having second thoughts. Beckett putting her body on the line, and as a result, they win possession.
Yeah, she read it beautifully. The call is possession. Vanessa Ware misheard it. She's not out of play technically. Well played, Emma Beckett. This is where she was so good last week. Absolutely went for everything.
She plays like she's got nothing to lose. She's been sitting on the bench for the first half. She comes on and thinks, well, I'm going to inject some excitement into this clash.
Well, she missed the season last year with a knee reconstruction. She's playing with just renewed vigour and passion. It's rubbing off on her teammates.
Bassett, number 25. And it's 4-goal margin. A chance to cut it to 3. Fever, 9 of the last 12. This is quite a run.
Yeah, great movement then from Bassett.
Here they come, the West Coast Fever. This is exactly what they did against the Vixens just 2 weeks ago. smiling already. Bassett's enjoying herself, and why not? Huge shot, 26 from 29.
The Swifts need to settle up. They'll look to Cox. She is the most senior member down that end of the court.
Here's the crowd. We'll be having the Mexican wave any minute here, Liz. They're absolutely getting their money's worth. Taking it up to the top of the table, Swifts. And it's the captain that stands and delivers in their time of need.
It's interesting, isn't it? When the Swifts are in this position, it's Cox that's out of the circle. She's looking for possession. She wants the ball to shoot it. That's what you want. You want your senior players to stand up. Demand possession, demand the ball.
Oh, Bolton's throwing that one away, though. The Swifts get a crucial stop.
Yeah, Bassett saying, settle, settle.
So McCloma, Bully.
Or Fever straight into defence. Bolton is another player who will throw herself into every contest.
Here they go. Movement not as rapid as it was in the first half. Beckett again just gets a hand in there. Relentless pressure by the Fever. Pratley doesn't want to turn and shoot. 2-on-2, physical. Umpire forced to intervene.
Yeah.
Crowd doesn't like it.
Push and shove going on in there between Cox and Furman.
Kath Cox very steady under the post. Oh, again, Beckett throwing herself around, making life tough for Cox, and now Furman comes in.
Oh, well done, Susan Furman. I think she's unlucky to have that call go against her. She used her outside arm, did everything perfectly well. Little bit of justice.
And Beckett with the rebound. Curran, fumble, crucial. Pratley, Cox on the baseline. And another goal to the Swifts. So 2 in a row. Little bit of breathing space, just a little bit. So Bassett, pull in against McCloma. How does it miss for Caitlin Bassett? Haven't been too many.
Well done, Fever. That's great transition defence. They're starting to get the hang of it, and they're doing it beautifully.
The Swifts are rattled. They're frustrated. McCloma starting to get a little verbal. Questioning calls. And again, the pass nearly came unstuck. Here's Smith. Now, such a change in momentum. It's the Swifts that are all of a sudden forced to be slow on the build-up. Green, good delivery into Pratley.
Yeah, Furman's doing a great job down there. She's getting in and getting physical, but she needs to be careful. She's currently equal most penalised player on court with Sonia McCloma, but without the intercept returns.
So a couple of steadying goals by the Swifts. It's back out to 7. Fever got within 3. Less than a minute remaining. Oh, and that hurts. That is a savage blow for the home side. Kath Cox, just when they needed her, it's back out to 8.
Fever need to score here. They can bring it back to 7. It'll set us up for a brilliant last quarter. Look in.
Bassett turns, goes to the post and scores. And they're back at that magical figure of 7, Liz. Seconds ticking down, double team was Cox. They couldn't give away the penalty and they didn't, and Beckett's done it again. Is there time? No, there's not.
Great defensive pressure then from the Fever. Smart play from Beckett, backed up onto Cox. No surprise that when the Swifts are in trouble, they'll go to their skipper for the scoring opportunity. Fever doing really well, picking that up, coming up with the possession. Great last quarter to come.
Well, they're coming with a rush, the West Coast Fever. They got within 3. It's back out to 7. The scene is set for the final term. Don't go anywhere. It's the Swifts 46, the Fever 39.
ANZ Netball, your chance to help us with the competition.
Well, the West Coast Fever won the 3rd quarter, and so Coach Jane Searle will find plenty of positives from that 3rd term, but it's the Swifts in the lead, and they lead by 7 goals. Suddenly, Liz Ellis, hope dangles before the West Coast Fever. They're coming off the upset of the year. Surely they can't go back to back.
Well, one of the criticisms of the Fever has been that they can produce this great effusive style of netball, but they haven't been able to do it consistently. Should they be able to do it tonight, that criticism just falls away and they become a real real force to be reckoned with in this competition. Just want to take a look at the rebounds for the Swifts. Most of their rebounding is coming through Bully. For the Fever, they're absolutely spanking the Swifts in that rebound stat, and it's coming through Furman, Reddy and Beckett. So defensively, the Fever defensive line are doing a great job pulling in any loose ball.
As we have a look at the shot chart, Kath Cox, gee, has she bounced back? 19 from 33 last week at just 57%. And tonight already 25 from 32.
And you can see with Cox that she does a lot of work on the baseline, shooting 12 of her goals from there. But if you look at that, Cox takes the left-hand side to circle often, Pratley takes the right-hand side. They do balance each other up particularly well.
Well, it's a pretty fierce rivalry out there, but good to see there's still time for a bit of a chat and a bit of a gossip. And Kat's probably saying it's my birthday today. Susan, go easy on me in this last quarter. Don't spoil the birthday party, whatever you do.
And Susan's probably saying, you're kidding, aren't you? I'm here to spoil everything.
Love watching this Fever side play. Never say die. Never, ever write them off. And here they go. Nothing to lose. Finals out of contention. But already a couple of upsets under the belt. And I really think that they can sniff another one.
A good start for the Fever. Important that they make the most of every scoring opportunity. Importantly for them then, they got the ball down quickly. Good build-up.
Let's go back down courtside, Sue.
Well, how exciting is this Fever side. No changes from either team. The Swifts, unspoken words, just looking at each other saying, job to do. But this Fever side are on fire. James Searle had a cast of thousands down at the bench. It was like a footy huddle. The energy was unbelievable. She was basically screaming at them, we can do this, use the crowd, hard one-on-one defence, let's win the game.
Well, it's an electric atmosphere in here for this last quarter. Chance for the Fever to get the first two in the last term. Short will turn, shoot. No, in fact, she gives off, and the call against McCloma.
Well, Furman was heavily penalised down this end of the last quarter. Interesting to see if that continues. That means the Fever will have a lot more scoring opportunities that will come by way of a penalty.
Back down to 5. They got within 3 in the third. Brown.
Oh, unlucky. She really flirted with that footwork rule, and she knew she dragged a toe, but
by a millimetre. It was a millimetre, Liz. It was right in front of us.
Oh, let it go. Swifts so happy to take it.
McCloma. Suddenly they were crisp. They were sharp in the first half, and they've just lost an edge. Where? Second-guessing themselves. Forced to go backwards. Nearly. Joe Curran.
In the first quarter, the Swifts really dominated that middle corridor. What the Fever have done well in this second half is clog up that corridor and make the Swifts go wide. That makes it much more difficult for them to get that real precision ball into Cox and Pratley.
Yeah, there has been a lot of congestion, no doubt about that. Here it is, a millimetre.
So close.
Get the roller out.
A drag is a drag, and a replay is a replay. Pratley coughing up possession.
Beckett, Curran, Short. Bolton, make sure of it, into Bassett. McCloma, arms all over her. Can't see the post from there. Goes again, gets a little closer. Well played by the Fever. Really starting to click now. Still within 5.
Well, it was Kath Cox's birthday today. It was Leah Short's birthday yesterday. She would love to spoil her former teammates' party. Well done, Short. Nearly comes up with possession.
Well, so whichever side wins tonight, Liz, there will be one big party after this. Pratley, long bomb. Oh, well done, Brown. Just got a finger in there, and as a result, a big turnover.
That's a really good thing to show young players. You don't have to get your hands on the ball. You just have to be in there contesting. And Brown, just simply by contesting, forced the turnover from Green.
Now there's more space for the Fever as they start the attack. Brown, back to Bolton, back to Brown. She goes over the top, McCloma's lurking. Ball goes against the Swifts.
Good strong take there from Bass. Got up and used both hands.
And they continue just to chip away. And there's Maddie Brown with a crucial hand. They just need to keep getting a stop. Easy as said than done when you consider this is the ladder leaders. Nearly a stop by Beckett.
Oh, she's just in everything. Every time there's a turnover, you know that Emma Beckett has got something to do with it.
Such an unlikely type as well, but she's so quick. And it rims out. Furman with the rebound.
And she's so desperate, and that's the most important thing. And that's what the Fever will really thrive on in this last 10 minutes or so of this game, is that desperation.
And look at that shooting. That is such a telling statistic, Liz. 80% v 33%. Here's Beckett again. Oh, just popped up, allowed Cathcox to come in. Pratley wants the call. There was no whistle. They're getting frustrated.
Yeah, it's important for Pratley when it's in a situation like this that she just gets on with it. You can't go looking for the whistle. You just got to take the ball, take what gets given to you, and then deliver.
And that's exactly what the captain just did. Deliver. So here it is. Call against Pratley.
Yeah,
they really are rattled. And a hell ball against Leah Short. Turnovers like this that really could be pivotal at the end result. Now Pratley again.
The other interesting thing with the Swifts front line at the moment is that Pratley is being brought up the court really high because of the defensive pressure from Fever. That is actually just disrupting the attacking setup. Pratley would prefer to stay closer to the circle.
And Pratley drops her 22nd goal for the night. The thing about this New South Wales Swift side, Liz, and you've probably seen most of their games this season, when challenged, they always find something.
Yeah, they find something, and often it's just the ability to stay composed. It'll be interesting to see just the two styles of both teams. The Swifts looking to settle things down, play calm, play composed. The Fever, on the other hand, want to fire up and just play on all that emotion and aggression that they've got.
And another goal to Susan Pratley. 7 now. And the last 3 to the Swifts. So suddenly the air's come out of the tyres just a little bit. Bolton finds Bassett. Bassett finds the goals. Jane Searle anxious. Green doesn't want to go forward. Back to Bully, back to Green. And you're right, Liz, they're really calming it down. They've dropped the tempo, slowed it down. Patient on the build-up.
Well, they've dropped the tempo, but Julie Fitzgerald has increased the volume on the hero.
Beckett again. Beckett just comes flying through, picks it off. There's been one person that's watching this tonight, Liz, that wouldn't be surprised with Emma Beckett's efforts. That'll be the Australian captain, Sherelle McMahon. A miss.
Such a shame. That really needed to be finished off. That inspirational defensive play just needs finishing. It lifts the team.
Yeah, it's deflating when you do all the hard work down in defence and then there's just a crucial miss like that.
Rebecca Bully really lifting her work rate and attack for the Swifts. She knows she's got to start to bring the ball down and deliver it closer to the shooters.
And Pratley again.
Yeah, well done, Beckett.
And the timeout here has come from Emma Beckett, and she appears to actually have a legitimate injury concern. The physio straight out to address an issue with her left ankle, and it gives the Swifts a chance to come over and have a bit of a chat amongst themselves. McCormick getting involved, and Julie Fitzgerald, the coach, having plenty to say as well. Liz, if you were the coach of the Swifts, what would be your message to them?
Just to keep doing what they've started to do in this quarter, and that is just to control the tempo. They're the more experienced team. If they just control the tempo and slow things down, that will take the wind out of the sails of the Fever. But I'm loving Emma Beckett's work. She's had an intercept, a couple of rebounds. She's been really quite efficient, not giving away that many penalties, and she's played 3/4 of the game. What stat that doesn't turn up there is possession gains, and for Emma Beckett, she's picked up 5 possession gains, and she's also had 6 deflections. So she's just been so efficient in terms of getting her hands on the ball and disrupting the flow of the Swifts front line.
Well, here's the scenario, just over 7 minutes remaining, and it is the Swifts by 7 goals. And let's not forget what happened on this court last year. It was an overtime thriller. The Swifts were the defending champions. The West Coast Fever knocked them off, and as a result, the Swifts didn't win a game for the rest of the season. Will it come back to haunt them? Bully, Pratley, Cox, no one under the post. Oh, good cut. Just slicing to the post was Pratley, and just spins and shoots again. Now, that's not a fluke because we've already seen her do it in the first half.
Yeah, and shooters, as I said before, do practice it. So when you're in that position, you don't have time to think. You just rely on what you've been taught and what you've practiced.
And Kath Cox makes it 6 of the last 7 for the Swifts. A replay. Prattley off balance. Just pops up the right hand. That is something magic.
Well, Maddie Brown being the meat in a Smith and Green sandwich.
Now it's the Fever that need to settle up. Got out to 8 goals. I mentioned the Swifts with 6 of the last 8 now. A mini run for them. They've been challenged and they've responded. Huntley again, she's been the go-to girl in this last quarter. And she sinks another one, and that really hurts the Fever. Replay of Madison Brown putting her body on the line. And the Swifts are away again. And momentum is back with the ladder leaders. Prattley just starting to almost pull away. Beckett, here she goes. They need to score, the Fever.
Oh, well done, Kim Green. Comes up with the penalty. What the Swifts have done well in the last few minutes is really stop reacting to the umpire's calls and stop getting lippy and just start to get on with the game. When they were rattled, a bit of a problem for them, Kel, was that they just started to question calls, look around, roll their eyes. You've got to stay in the game when the team's coming back at you.
Much needed goal for the West Coast Fever. There's still plenty of time, 5 minutes left in this contest. It's the Swifts by 8. We've seen the Fever have the ability to slam on consecutive goals, go on a bit of a run. Cox, turns, shoots, goals. Really starting to relish her time out in the middle now. Bolton, short, good take. And now Bassett. They're still in it. Here's the replay. McCloma just charging out at her. Just over 4 minutes now. 8 goals. And that hurts. Kath Cox makes it 9.
Yeah, the Swifts just look to have regained their confidence. The Fever, though, are still in it. They're still fighting. Time is going to be what kills them in the end.
Bolton, beautiful delivery into Short for another goal. Leah Short, that's 15 from 21 for the evening.
Wing defence hold. Centre third. Centre third, no, wing third.
This will be a Swifts ball. Bit of confusion on the court. Questions being asked to the umpire. Bully accepts it. And now against Furman. So struggling to keep their head above water now in the final minutes. They've done all the hard work. And the class just starting to shine through for the Swifts. This is Beckett to bring it back to 8. In fact, it'll be the captain in Curran. A little bit more confusion. Just to add to the scenario. Oh, the long bomb into Bassett. Beautiful delivery, and Bassett with the quick goal. And that's what they need. They need quick goals. 3 minutes. 8 goals the difference. Need to stop the Fever. Green looking to give it into Cox, who was certainly manhandled in under the post. And again, just too classy and too cool.
Well, Kath Cox looks to have recovered from the yips she had last weekend. I think the line that she used was she couldn't have hit the water if she fell out of a boat after shooting at 57%. She's recovered, and what is great to see is she continues to go to the post regardless of what's happening around her, and she's done that tonight from the start.
Prattley's really stood up when counted as well. Cox turns, shoots, and her 32nd goal for the evening. Just 19 last week, so what a difference a week makes. Bolton. Looking to give it off to Short, and suddenly they've come crashing back to earth, the Fever.
Yeah, Sonia McCloma having a fine game. 6 intercepts, 8 possession games, 6 deflections. She's been in everything, and she's had a work cut out for her tonight because Caitlin Bassett has played beautifully.
So it was a tough ask for the Swifts coming in, Liz. I mean, they're here in Perth tonight, and then they've got a week, and then they head to Auckland. So I think they go home for just 2 days and then off to Auckland, and it's a tough run home for them.
Yeah, of all the teams in the top 4, I think the Swifts have one of the toughest runs home. They're going to be tested all the way through. There's plenty of danger teams
They've got the
there.
Mystics coming up next week, the Magic after that, the Vixens and the Steels. So 3 in the top 4 contenders as Bassett puts another one down, and it's out to 10 goals now. The Swifts class really coming through in these final few minutes, although Ware throws that one away. Furman still playing out there like there is a bit of hope.
And good on her. You want to see teams firing all the way through to the end. That's a beautiful delivery
to
from Bolton.
Bassett, just beautiful. Back to 9. Here's a replay. Off balance. Makes it look as easy as that. Certainly isn't. Shaw just thinks, well, if it's good enough for Bolton, I'll try it as well.
Well, the beauty of having Bassett as your back marker there is that you can put the ball up. If all else is lost, put it up through, and most of the time she'll come down with it.
Barney's contact.
So time ticking down.
Contact, please.
And it's 9 goals. They certainly deserve to lose by a smaller margin than that. Got it back down to 3. As the crowd counts down, and Brown will go the long bomb, trying to get one more score. And the New South Wales Swifts survive an almighty scare against the West Coast Fever, but they keep their perfect record intact. That's 9 in a row. The final score, the Swifts 61, the West Coast Fever 52. The Fever brave, gutsy, and it really was an entertaining 4 quarters of netball here at Challenge Stadium in Perth tonight.
Yeah, it certainly was, and full credit to the Fever. They trailed by 5 at the first break. Now, in years gone by, that might have been a team that put their heads down and allowed the Swifts to run over them. What they did do tonight beautifully, though, was fight all the way to the end. Probably just didn't have the composure to keep their intensity up when the Swifts took the pace off the game in the last quarter. That really is experience, the Swifts telling. Just coming through, they took the pace off the game, they controlled the tempo, and that's how they were able to run it through in the end.
We'll go through all the stats very shortly. The leading goal scorer tonight, though, was Caitlin Bassett. She finished with 38. But the star of the show was the captain for the New South Wales Swifts, Kath Cox, 33 goals for the evening. She is back in fine form, and she's actually courtside with Sue Gordian.
Good on you, Kel. Well, I do have Kath Cox here. Happy birthday first and foremost, Kath.
Thank you.
Mightn't have been a good one there for a while.
No, there was some patches there, but that was always going to happen. They're a quality side, and we got stuck in that trap last time we were over here. We had a bit of a lead, and they kept fighting and fighting. We ended up in an overtime game and losing. So we know what that's like, and just had to make sure we kept pushing forward.
Talk us through the trap, because in the third quarter, it got down to 3 goals. What happened to the Swifts?
Yeah, I don't look at the scoreboards. I didn't know that, thank God. But, I mean, as I said, I think we just probably stopped doing what we were doing well, and that was attacking the ball. Probably started to get a little bit lacklustre in that area, and that's when they started to come on top of us.
On a personal note, it was 53% last week. I think you're up around about 78, 80%. Happy?
Improvement. Still not great, but it's an improvement.
And just quickly, I looked over at Julie Fitzgerald a dozen times through the game. I don't know if she was too happy.
No, well, that's Julie. That's her face most of the time, so it's hard to tell sometimes.
All right, well, enjoy your birthday. Have a drink, I think.
Thank you.
See you, mate.
I'm not sure whether she will be having a drink or not, given that they are the ladder leaders. And they certainly have got a big final series just around the corner. Kath Cox, happy birthday, 33 from 42 tonight. Not a bad effort whatsoever. Let's go back down to Sue Gordian, who's got another pretty happy New South Wales Swifts player.
I do have a happy New South Wales Swifts player who just told me she's exceptionally sweaty. You got a bit of a knock in the nose. Liz made a comment and said she thought your mascara might have run.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, no, a bit of a knock in the nose, and as you probably know, I start watering straight away. So I wasn't crying, I wasn't being abused. So okay.
You're happy with that win, surely?
Yeah, we are. Obviously, we're a bit disappointed with some of our passages of play. There wasn't enough drives in that attack end, so defenders got it back for us in that third quarter and going into the fourth.
Is it that hard to travel to Perth and play well?
Coming against Perth at the home ground is always hard. Their fans are very vocal, and you could hear them coming back into the game, and that's one thing Coxie said to us, we need to, silence the crowd a little bit.
Tell me what you thought of Sonia McCloma's performance tonight.
Oh, Sonia's always awesome for us, and she's my roomie, so I have to be nice to her.
Yeah, she might cop you in the face as well. So the Mystics next week, all the way over to New Zealand, tough one?
Yeah, definitely. The last time we went against them at their home ground, we went into overtime, and 1 by 1. So I'm sure they're looking to come back and beat us this time, and it's going to be very hard.
Well, all the best. An early night, I'm sure, a long flight back, and then across the Tasman.
I'm going business class.
I'm not sure whether the look on the teammate says that they're all flying business class, Liz.
No, it's netball, Kel. They'll be flying economy. Kim is obviously used to points and got herself upgraded, so well done her, but I think it's going to be a happy flight.
It certainly will be. Let's go back down to Sue Gordian, and she's got one of the players from the West Coast Fever who we certainly spoke a lot about tonight, Liz. She's one of our favourite players, Emma Beckett.
I was just going to quickly say that she must get paid more than us if she's flying business class. Emma, disappointing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't what we were looking for.
When you say it wasn't what you were looking for, when you started the first quarter and things were, well, you weren't on the first quarter, but your team started this first quarter and it was a little bit lackadaisical, and all of a sudden this crowd pumped up and Fever came alive. What is it? What happens on court?
I'm not sure exactly. I think we come out and we have such good patches and we have such bad patches, and the crowd gets behind us and they're absolutely amazing. They go crazy. It's just a shame we can't utilise that and step up and come away with the win, I suppose. It's a little frustrating.
Let's talk quickly on a personal note. You must be thrilled. You're getting a court time all of a sudden and you're having a massive impact on the court.
Well, I suppose that's what Jane's asked for me, to come on and make an impact when I come on. So it's nice that it's happening. Obviously, it's nice to get a bit more court time tonight than what I have been. But in saying that, you've got to everyone's fighting for it. So.
Well, we thought you did a great job. We commentated all night about how well you were doing. Good luck against the Pulse next week at home. I think it might be a win.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what we're coming out for. So
good on you, Beckett.
Terrific, thanks for that, Sue. 2 wins, Liz, for the West Coast Fever so far this season, but not a bad run home. 4 rounds to go, and they've got the Pulse here next Monday night, a chance for a win.
Certainly is a chance for the win, but the Pulse are going to be a team who are going to cause some upsets of their own in the last part of this season. Had a great win yesterday against the Tactics. They'll come into the game next week with their tails up and wanting to punch on with the Fever.
Well, the Fever gave it everything, and they just fell short in the end. It was the New South Wales Swifts by 9 goals to wrap up round 10 here at Challenge Stadium in Perth. Right after this, look at the Mars Monday night wrap. All the details from round 10. It was the Swifts by 9 goals. Well, round 10 has concluded in Perth with the New South Wales Swifts surviving a scare to hold off the fast-finishing West Coast Fever by 9 goals. The final score, 61-52. Liz Ellis, let's have a look at some of the goal scorers, because it really did feature all the star shooters of the competition tonight.
Certainly did, and what was really heartening for the Fever is that Leah Short was able to chip in with a number of goals of her own. Caitlin Bassett shot beautifully tonight. Catherine Cox came in for some really physical treatment at the hands of the Fever defensive line, and she stood up beautifully.
And the match stats, what do they tell us? Gee, there's not much between really at all until we go down to the turnovers, and there it is.
Yeah, until you get to the turnovers. What I loved about this game was that it was allowed to flow. There wasn't a lot of whistle in it, so both teams were allowed to contest the ball. So the penalties tonight for both sides were a bit lower, but it was that turnover rate for the Fever that killed them, coughing up the ball 25 times against a team as good as the Swifts and as slick as the Swifts. You can't afford to do that. What the Fever did, though, was just contest everything right to the end. It kept them in the game, but I'm sure they'd go back and say, we need to make sure we keep hold of the ball.
Well, there's always a sign of a good, classy side, and that is the side that when challenged, they respond, and they respond really well, and that's exactly what the Swifts did tonight.
Yeah, and the clever thing that they did beautiful, that the Swifts did really well towards the end of the game, they responded not by lifting the tempo and lifting the intensity, but by actually taking the tempo and the pace out of the game, and it's a good team that can control that towards the end of a match and that can control it under pressure, and they did it by really working the ball around, finding the spaces, taking taking the easy pass rather than the specky pass, which had worked well for them at the start of the game. So well done for the Swifts. But the Fever were exactly the opposite. It was great to watch a team that was at the other end of the scale, so running so much on emotion and passion and pride, and that is what kept them in the game.
And I mean, you talk about the passion and the pride. It was the third quarter. They actually won the third quarter, so they can take heart from that. And they got within 3, but they're just so exciting to watch because they are so enthusiastic. And you're right, you can never write them off.
Absolutely. I guess what the Fever want to concentrate on for the last 4 rounds, they're going to come up against some of the teams that are really gunning for a place in the top 4, and how they perform will have a massive say over how the top 4 looks. The Fever would love to get a couple of big scalps towards the end of this season.
Well, the Swifts won, and they won by 9, so I'm guessing the player of the game came from the New South Wales Swifts, your old side, incidentally. Take it away. Let's have a look at the Holden Cruise player of the day.
Well, I guess for me, it was really a game of 2 halves, and Sonia McCloma had a brilliant first half. She was a little quiet in the second half and allowed Caitlin Bassett to the game, but had done enough to pick up 3 points. Kath Cox shooting 33 from 42. Incidentally, that's 1 goal less than the age that she turns today. Had she shot 34, I would have given her the 3 points, but tonight she picks up 2. And Emma Beckett in a losing side was just outstanding. She had a massive say in the Fever's fight back tonight.
You're the stats queen, and you've just given away her age, so she won't talk to you for the rest of the year. Of course, the winner wins the wonderful Holden Cruise, Australia's best small car, plenty of space, Liz, even fits your long legs in there. And well, I think it's probably appropriate that we should have a look. Sonia McCloma taking out the player of the match today. She wins $1,000 for the Broken Hill Netball Club. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Well, that's not her junior club. No, you have to be Einstein to figure that out. Sonia, of course, is a player from England, but she's chosen a club that probably needs a little bit of help, and they get $750 cash and some safety gear for their club as well.
All right, let's have a look at the leaderboard, and it is a New South Wales Swifts player that just sits on top. Rebecca Bully, she's quite clear as well. Carla Borrego, of course, the Jamaican shooting sensation from Adelaide, is involved, and her teammate, Jiva Mentor, and Kath Cox. You gave her a couple for her birthday, and all of a sudden she's right up there.
She certainly is. Rebecca Bully and Claire McMenamin haven't picked up points in the last couple of weeks, so they'll probably be looking to get some points in the next few rounds.
And of course, we've got the Mars Monday Night Wrap right around the corner, where we'll have a look at the all-important championship ladder, but that could probably tell you that the Swifts are undefeated after 10 rounds.
Yeah, it's interesting. At the start of the year, the Vixens were sitting second on that Team of the Year list. The Thunderbirds, though, creeping up on the back of some great performances.
Well, it was the Swifts by 9 goals in the end. The final score was 61 to 52. New South Wales Swifts extending their unbeaten run and cementing themselves as outright premiership favourites. There's just 4 rounds to go. We've got the Mars Monday Night Wrap just around the corner. And welcome back. Liz, it's time to look at the Mars Monday Night Wrap. We look at the round 10 and the weekend that was, and we'll start off in Wellington, where the Central Pulse, I think I can still hear them celebrating. They are celebrating their first win of the year. What a win it was in Wellington. They got over the Tactics 45 to 43 in the end. It was a thriller, but what a win for the Pulse.
Yeah, it was really well done from the Pulse. They led all the way. We just saw Katrina Grant there. She's been out for about 5 rounds with a foot injury. She had an outstanding first quarter, along with Amarab Wazy. So on the back of that defensive pressure from the Pulse, they got out to a pretty good lead, and they were actually 5 goals ahead with about 5 minutes to go. In the third quarter, their captain, Jane Oshwager, was taken from the court. She didn't manage to find a way back onto the court for the last part of the game. Tactics fought really well, though, and with just a minute to go, they were only 1 goal behind, but some pretty impressive shooting from Paula Griffin, Silver Fern, who is really coming back into some great form, got them home, shooting back-to-back goals, and a great win for the Pulse. So well done to them. And I think they're the sort of team that now they've got that win under their belt, they'll start to pick up some more wins towards the end of this year. And I reckon that coaches who are coming up against them will look at them and say, well, they're a bit dangerous and we're going to have to be careful about what goes on.
Well, the coach that will be doing that is the West Coast Fever coach, Jane Sell, because the Pulse are on their way to Perth for next Monday night here. So it should be an interesting contest, no doubt about that. It was the Pulse 45 over the Tactics 43, and you mentioned Paula Griffin, just fantastic. 93%, 27 from 29.
Yeah, and she was really good in the dying moments of that match. She just had the composure to turn and shoot her team home in front of a massive crowd. So it's great to see that despite the fact that Pulse don't win a lot of games, they still get some good hometown support.
Well, you were here courtside yesterday in Adelaide. This really was a season-defining clash. The Thunderbirds consolidating their spot in the top 4. You would have to say at this point in time they are safe, but they did it only just over the Queensland Firebirds.
Yeah, they did it only just, but it was set up on the back of a great first quarter blitz from the Thunderbirds. I just wonder if Rosalie Jenke, the coach of the Firebirds, won't look at her selections and think to herself, oh, I made a mistake. Thunderbirds got out to an 8-goal lead. They started Lauren Nurse back at wing attack and the relatively inexperienced Jackie Russell on at centre. That just really allowed the Thunderbirds front line, Nat Von Berto in particular, really well supported by Erin Bell to run riot. But it was the Carla Borrego show towards the end of the day. She was just outstanding. The Firebirds fought back. They got to within 2 goals in the later stages of the game. But it was just a composure from the Thunderbirds and got them through.
And just interesting in the Adelaide media this morning, reading that their captain, Nat Von Berto, really forced to publicly back their coach, Jane Woodlands-Thompson. There was some, I guess, speculation that there's trouble in the camp. The final score, the Thunderbirds 53, the Firebirds 51. Liz, the captain said, all is good, we're winning and we're a chance to take it out.
Look, and I guess while every team's winning, it's probably going to take some heat off a coach. But the Thunderbirds haven't been without controversy this year. What they've done particularly well, though, is to put that behind them on game day and come up with a couple of really significant wins in the last 2 weeks.
Well, we'll continue with the Mars Monday Night Wrap right after this, including a big result tonight from across the Tasman. Welcome back to the Mars Monday Night Wrap. Liz Ellis, there was a big result from across the Tasman earlier tonight. The Magic, sitting second on the championship ladder, have gone down by 5 goals to their rivals, the Steel. The final score 52-47.
That is a huge result in the context of the season, Kel. Every game at the moment just counts for so much. Just look at that. Irene Van Dyke generally sits up at 40+ goals per game for the season, has been kept to 29 tonight. They would have gone a long way towards the result, and Whippy Eaty and Megan Dean just shooting so beautifully as well.
And it means with the Magic, I guess they dropped one. They were looking to make it 8 straight. And as a result, with the Swifts winning tonight, they go 2 games clear on the top of the ladder. We'll get to that very shortly, but let's have a look at some of the crucial statistics in the ANZ Championship. And we start with the goal shooter of the year, Irene Van Dyke. You were just talking about her at 94%, so the most accurate.
Yeah, she's shooting beautifully. Now, you've got to get over 100 goals to be eligible for this. Van Dyke on top. Catherine Latu had 41 from 41 last week for the Mystics. They've had the bye this week. She'll want to continue that really impressive percentage. But some great shooting there just across an entire season. It's really impressive when shooters can sit up above that 80%.
And it's pretty impressive when players can sit above 30 when it comes to intercepts of the year.
Yeah, Byfield, Williams and Kite all playing for New Zealand-based teams. Now, I guess as an Australian, I'll argue that the New Zealand style of play, that defensive setup, really sets players up for intercepts. But you've got to have the courage and the conviction to get out and get them. And Byfield in particular is doing that beautifully.
We saw plenty of rebounds here in the round 10 clash in Perth tonight. But there are a couple of Australians that are leading the charge. Laura Geitz with 37. Romelda Aitken, her teammate, with 47.
Yeah, she's doing particularly well, getting a lot of her own rebounds as well. Rebecca Bully sitting up there. That wasn't a stat that she was very high on last year, so that's coming into her game this year.
OK, the all-important championship ladder, 4 rounds to go. There are 7 teams in contention to finish in the top 4. What that really tells us at the top of the ladder is the Swifts are 2 games clear.
Look, the Swifts are sitting pretty. They'll be quite comfortable. They do have a tough run home, but I reckon they've done enough. Just looking at the ladder from last year, 16 points and a percentage of 102 was enough to get you into that top 4. A lot of those teams have got a lot of work to do. Firebirds in particular, they need to win every single game on the run home to even contend for the top 4. But for the Steel tonight, the story is there. They've moved into the top 4 and pushed Vixens into 5th spot with a massive win over the Magic.
And what it means for the Melbourne Vixens, the defending champions, is that they are in all sorts of trouble, no doubt about that. 4 rounds to go. It was the Swifts, 2 games clear. They did it easy over the Fever in the end, winning by 9 here tonight in Perth.